Okay, the Master Key coaching system. So if I asked you the question, what would you choose? Health and billion-dollar energy, relationships that are so powerful and so incredibly connected. 3, to know your zone of genius, your soul purpose. 4, maybe spiritual prosperity. Now, spiritual prosperity, everybody thinks it's about wealth, houses, Mercedes-Benz, all of that kind of jazz. But if you don't have your health, your relationships, and all of those elements that are so vitally important, in fact, knowing the reason you were put on this earth, you don't have riches, you don't have wealth. So your wealth is within you. And as we move through today, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Master Key number 5 as well. And Master Key 5 is your legacy. So your legacy is not about being some, king or queen. We've heard some really great stuff today about archetypes and, subconscious people and things that go on underneath at this level. We've heard so many incredible things. However, your billion-dollar energy and your right to riches are your birthright. Who believes that? Hands up if you believe it is your birthright. So what if I told you how many people in this room are serving in the community or into the wider world as a clinical hypnotherapist, coach, healer, or leader? Raise your hands if that is you. So, okay, you're definitely in the right room then, no pun intended. So this is about turning your pain into your power. Hands up if you've ever struggled knowing your niche, knowing who you are really talking to. Because let's face it, if you can speak to the subconscious mind, I know a lady in this room that can speak to the subconscious mind without the person being in the room. That's pretty powerful. So I'll share about that. Perhaps if you want to come up and talk to me about it, because that's a little miracle that has happened here over the last 24 hours. And I nearly didn't get to this conference. In fact, I nearly didn't get to this conference because my husband is in hospital as we speak. So, he said, go. And this is about turning your pain into power. But as a result, he was able to heal. We've just had a miracle report. And that healing has happened through the spiritual realm. And I know this is where he's going to turn his pain to power. So my name's Terri Messenger, and I designed the Master Key system because I knew that really your riches, your spiritual prosperity came out of your health, your relationships, your self-love, your self-confidence, your ability to be able to function at a very, very high level. And how many of us get stuck in our life, get caught up in those stories. We've heard about it today also, imposter syndrome, triggers. And these are what happens to us. And yet another element spoken about today is that we were born for success. We were all born for success. But at the age of around about 1, we started to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to, understand the world at a much deeper level. And this is when we started to form our ideas. So a lot of people say, why did God do that? The wars that are going on in the world, the things that happen to people, whether you believe in God or you don't, there's a universe, there's got to be some higher realm, right? So it's not that God or the universe or anything any superpower makes that happen. Sometimes it is allowing it to happen. And if I told you that your biggest pain, your biggest element of what has made you go grrr in your life, where you've been totally challenged, where you've felt like the carpet has been pulled from under your feet, where you have faced difficulties, that is what you can make a stand for. You can stand up and be counted, and that is your passion. And when you can understand, see, I was trying to short circuit my husband by saying to him, because he had so many elements that happened in the last 3 months, a fractured arm, an amputated toe, DKA in diabetes, which means almost death, coma, in and out of hospital, back and forward, and then alas, maybe diabetes 3. And if any of you know, I don't know whether you've heard of diabetes 3, but that is a form of dementia. So it was like the future was looking very bleak. And I said to myself, we're going to reverse this. We are going to, because no one of us are the actual miracle. We are not the guru. Your nervous system, your body is the guru. It's you that can heal itself, because that is what's laid down at birth. My husband teaches on this as a chiropractor. That is the first thing that's laid down on birth. So you can change anything. So for me, what is my pain? I grew up feeling like the black sheep. I grew up with ADHD, but I was undiagnosed because it wasn't around back in those days. So I knew I was struggling at school. I knew that life was difficult, but then there was another element of me that I knew I had this spiritual gift. You know, when you just know that you know, and I had this kind of super connection with people, but it wasn't socially, it was in this supernatural way, and I knew that. But when I turned 17, I was sacked from 8 jobs in a row. That's the downside. Here's the upside. I got every job I ever went for. So I'm not sure, you know, whether that is such a bad thing, but that was enough to give me a pretty low self-esteem. And, you know, this is where it doesn't matter what you've gone through. You know, if you feel blocked, can every single one of you in this room actually admit that you would like to have more money, more confidence, more success, more empowerment? Would all of you at least say yes to one of those things? And of course, greater health, more energy, more motivation. Well, you know what? It is not about fancy cars or even fancy clothes. Sorry for the dress. Or even, you know, mansions or anything like that. It's about how it makes you feel. How would it make you feel? Think about it for a moment. Do you want success? Do you want to be able to, you know, achieve great wealth? Do you want to be able to impact people, to feel important? Do you want to feel a connection beyond your own comprehension? Maybe with a soul partner, maybe with yourself or a friend. Well, ask yourself this question. If you did have it, how would you feel? Does anybody want to raise their hand and perhaps give an example? Is anybody willing to say, well, I'd really like to have this, Terri, and then I'll work that through with you? If so, yes, Alita, thank you for being so. You want total health. Total health. You know, that's not a lot to ask for, is it? That is your birthright. So my question back to you is, what is the problem exactly?
I think it takes a long time to rebuild your neurological system.
And you may be right, but look at you, you're a miracle.
Yeah.
You are a miracle. This is a lady right here that was told by doctors she'd never be able to walk again. Now, if that's not a miracle. Now, what if I told you, Zelita, this was not rigged? What if I told you that everything you went through and your story is your glory? As a result, that you ended up in a position where you defied the odds, you screamed, and I only just got to hear that a couple of hours ago, when the doctor said she'll never walk again. Your spirit on every level said, no. And that became your power. That is your superpower. Now, I'd like to ask somebody else, perhaps for something else like, you know, if someone's wanting success, perhaps in their business or wealth, or anybody prepared to say so, or say that you'd like, nobody wants success. Oh, yes.
Yes, but I would also like connection.
That's fair enough. Okay. So success and connection, this lady up the back.
Yeah. I think so. So I'm writing books, so I want to be training, like finish getting together and put my program together.
Okay, I love that. So all of those things are about the human doing. But it's funny, we're human beings, right? Would you agree with that? So, you know, that's great because I'm like you, I'm ambitious, okay? And also with you, usually people want more than one thing. So it's usually that there is a few things that you truly, truly want. But my question to you is, when you write that book, when you get those programs up and running, when all those elements happen, how are you going to feel?
I feel finally, because it's been anchored into me for quite some time, and it's suddenly taking action on all the downloads that come through. I'm feeling good. Then I'll create more.
Okay, so feeling good and more. Okay, how will it feel when you're feeling good and creating more?
Like I've finally stepped into self-acceptance.
Ah, boom. Self-acceptance. Would you believe me if I told you that all those programs you want to write, yes, Spirit put that into you. Spirit calls you to do that. So it's calling you. You don't have to chase after it because it wants you. However, once you come to know that really that little girl in you is truly wanting self-acceptance, okay, that's a self-acceptance, and that is your glory. So whatever comes under there. And I will say, without going deep, that the fact that you are wanting that self-acceptance, what do you think it means? You're all really, I know, highly educated here. It means that at some point of her life, she wasn't. Does that make sense? So that's when you make a stand. So your books, your programs, is that to make people feel good? Is that to lift people up and empower them? Is that to allow people to feel like they can accept themselves? Okay, let's all go, yes, yes. Okay, and that's your glory. That's about turning your pain into your power. So the thing here, and Joe Dispenza quite often talks about this, is neurons that wire together, fire together. So sometimes, you know, you'll be wanting to go this way, but you're going that way. You know what I mean? The exact thing that you want to do, you're getting pulled back from. So you know, it may be that you're self-sabotaging yourself. It may be that, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted today, I can't do, I'll do it tomorrow. It could be a lack of motivation. but it's all designed to protect you. So when you can call it, it's calling its bluff. And we've heard this time and time again today. You can sit down like we heard in our last session in here and actually have a big meeting with all those voices in your head, right? And you can address each one of them and you can find out and allow your soul to whisper, hey, it's just wanting to protect you. Do you remember that time? Do you remember that time when you were 3 or when you were 7, when you got told this, when that happened? It's just a reminder. But what if you could treat it and put it like a book on the wall, put it on the shelf? If it becomes a book on the shelf, or even better, a video, a lot of you know in NLP, you can do a fast phobia cure. So you're just running that movie backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And in the end, it's like a cartoon movie with a Benny Hill music sound over it. And it becomes humorous. So, you know, my vision is to transform 1 million lives by 2028. And I know I'm not going to do that alone. So this is about imparting to others, training and teaching them to be in their iconic state, because there's no such thing as competition. There'll never be another you or any one of you. There's only one fingerprint of your own. So the fact that there is only one fingerprint, you stand in your own power. However, I've worked with 5,000 people or more, and that's where we learnt that your pain becomes your power. Your story is your glory. So that is your niche. That is, you know, it's the you of here, back here, right? And it's the you, and if you wrote it down on a piece of paper and you described yourself, what did you feel? What was going on for you? It's not about the event, because that's gone. Just release it and let it go right now. And start to know that you are loved. Start to understand that you were once born, coming out into this world without clothes on, purity, absolutely purity. But then guess what? You had ancestors. Did you? Yes, you had ancestors, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-great-great-great-grand. But guess what? Even before then, there was nothing. What if you could take yourself back to nothing? Absolute nothing, just golden light, where you are receiving unconditional love. Can everybody say, I am open and receptive to abundance, to self-love, to self-worth, to self-confidence? So what we're going to do is a massive history release. Don't worry, you don't have to get down in the mud here. We don't travel back through time through the mud. What we do is we put your superpower hat on. We do this at a supernatural level. So you can rise up above, right? And you can have a look at what it is that's stopping and blocking you. And you can recognize it without even having to think about all of the things, because it doesn't matter, and go right back, boom. And then a question was asked earlier today, and it was about, I guess, and I really believe in this, because hypnosis really is about taking you and allowing you to know exactly what you want and creating it right there in your present and seeing it in your future, and then practicing it in your mind, feeling it, seeing it, hearing it, allowing yourself to immerse into it. So some people might disagree and say, Oh, Terri, why do we want to regress? Why do we want to go back? Well, the fact is we're not regressing back through the mud. We're like a bird in the sky in an ageless, timeless space. And we're going back to that child and we're saying, you are going to be filled with self-love. You are going to be filled with empowerment, confidence, courage. You know, all those little errors and those experiences you had, well, you're going to change it, but like a fun thing, like you're a child and you're changing it. Of course, it's not real. It's not real. We're just going to make it up. But your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. Have you ever had a bad dream? Have you ever woken from a bad dream and felt all the pain? Yeah. Or maybe you had a really good dream and you're, oh, I want to go back. Take me back to that dream. Why did that dream have to end? Because our subconscious mind experienced it. So when you can go back, see, the thing is, you're called to learn. You're called to heal. You're called to acknowledge so that you can be the light to the world. So that you can, okay, this happened, but from back here, before time, and actually see, oh, okay, this is what happened. I'm suffering a lot of this stuff, you know, maybe imposter syndrome. I'm having all these blocks, all of that stuff. But that's your power. So what we need to do now is fly out in time, right out to where you are in the present, and then just skip over to the future and land in the space when you are your very best self. How do you look? How do you feel? What are you actually achieving? And I want you to be open. I want you to say it again. I am open and receptive to receiving all the prosperity I deserve. And prosperity is your health, your wealth, your success, your freedom, your connection, your love, your importance, your inspiration. So you could be 7 feet from gold. Don't give up. And do not settle. Do not settle. I wasn't even prepared to settle when the doctors indicated that my husband had dementia. I was not prepared to settle on that. Instead, I knew there would be a way. And when I came to this conference, that led me to the first step of what has already been told by the doctors, that we don't understand what's happened. So just know that you are the power, and some people do give up. You know that, right? We're all Australian. Oh, there's some Americans here in the room, but there was a guy named C.Y. O'Connor, and he developed the pipeline. And C.Y. O'Connor was probably very ambitious, very passionate, and he created it. But guess what? It didn't work. Does anybody know what the end of the story is? Say that out loud. Yes. But what did he do? He died. He took his own life because he didn't think it worked. And the next day, the water ran through to Kalgoorlie. And it's just like the Napoleon Hill story about the man who was a great, wealthy, rich man who used to prospect for gold. But he got down, deep. But guess what? He gave up. A tramp ragman who lived on the streets came along, but he was smart enough to know, if he's been searching here, let's go down a bit further. Boom. Guess what he found? He was not a poor man anymore, all because he didn't give up. So when the question was asked to John Maxwell, the great author, what are people doing to succeed? His answer was, it's not what they are doing, It's what they have done. And that's not your success. That's about doing something really badly. That's about failing forward, because doing something is better than doing nothing. Now just close your eyes, if we all can do that for an experience. And I want you to breathe in slowly through your nose. And as you breathe up, I want you to hold it and then release it out through your mouth, blowing out. Now, as you breathe it out, I want you to come back to your breath, but keep your eyes closed. But this time I want you to look up through the crown of your head with your eyes closed. And as you look up through the crown of your head, I want you to drop your shoulders. I want you to analyze your body and find out if there's any tightness, any stress, any pain, and I want you to love on it. I want you to love on it and say thank you, and now I let you go. And as you let it go, I want you to see the number 3 in your mind. And as you see the number 3, I want you to see it disappearing into the wilderness. And then I want you to see number 2. And now breathe in again through your nose and hold it at the top. Look up through the crown of your head and breathe out through your mouth. Now I want you to see the number 2. See the number 2, and I want you to see it floating out to paradise, disappearing. And we're going to do that one more time, breathing in through your nose. Hold it at the top. Breathe out through your mouth. See the number 1. And you have won. You are here in this room. You are meant to be here in this room. There are no mistakes, not the good ones, not the bad ones, not the successful ones, not the sad ones. Everything is just as it's supposed to be. I want you to breathe in and see the number 1. And as you see number 1, breathe it out and see it disappearing and floating into your future, and hear it go clunk. Now, I want you to just trust this. You don't have to make anything up in your mind. Just trust it. It is the higher version of you. It is you in maybe 3 months' time from now. And it is you because you have health, wealth, success, freedom, and because you feel incredible. But just trust the process, because I want to ask your subconscious mind if I can have permission to unlock your self-worth, your self-love, and your codes of prosperity. And if you have said yes and your subconscious mind agrees, I want you to know that it's time to let go of the noise of what you thought you had to accept. And you can accept whatever it was that was stopping and blocking you, but I want you to thank it. I want you to say thank you, and I now receive the learnings, and I let you go. And now, as you do this, I want to ask you, each one of you, to place your hands out into the receiving, like your palms are just facing upward. Just place your palms up, because you are about to receive abundance. You are about to receive the healing of your wounds, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And as you do this, we are going to set your intention to transform the past conditionings that have, in the past, perhaps sabotaged your greatest potential. And now I want you to now bring your hands into your heart. That's right. And just breathe in through your heart, expanding it. And all your talents and gifts are going to come to the very forefront. Every part of you, you're going to shift through the upper limit. And I want you to imagine that there you are sitting, there you are with your hands on your chest, and you're going to break through the ceiling. You're going to break through the upper limit, and you're going to go into an expanded consciousness state that you've never, ever experienced before. This is you trusting your subconscious, and I want you now to be the authority and to revolutionize your system so that you can truly receive your prosperity. Now drop your hands in your lap. That's right. Now, as you drop your hands in your lap with your eyes closed down shut, still I want you to look up through the crown of your head. I want you to get ready to release the old and bring in the new with unshakable confidence so you can have unstoppable energy. Now, as you set this intention, maybe you've been suffering, sometimes in silent desperation. Maybe you've been longing for a solution. But now you're about to discover that everything you've ever gone through, anything that has stopped and blocked you, has been for the greater purpose of your life. And you are going to be like that Superman, that Wonder Woman, that warrior, that queen, that king, that incredible person that is going to now be the light of the world. Take another deep breath in. And as you now exhale it through your mouth, I want you to get ready to dissolve, heal, and release. So I'm going to ask your superpower to activate your success. And by doing so, I want you to acknowledge that your unconscious mind has had the greatest intention for you to keep you safe. That's the only reason you had been held back, wasn't it? That's the only reason that you had suffered, didn't you? So now with all of these old elements that were holding you back from your prime vision that you want for your life, I want you to say in your mind, I understand the higher intention, and I promise that as I claim my right, I will believe in myself. I now decree to dissolve, clear, and release those negative elements that were holding me back. And now that you've decreed it, I want you to allow your superpower to release it through all dimensions of time, past, present, and future. And as that dissolves, clears, and releases, I want you now, with your eyes closed, to look down while your eyes are closed. I want you to think about the way it used to be for you. And I want you to look up with your eyes closed. I want you to think about that old history of anything that was stopping and blocking you. And I want you to look sharp to the left and now sharp to the right. And now look up again. And now look down. And now make a circle with your eyes. And as you make a circle with your eyes, I want you to spin it the other way, spinning it the other way, but don't forget where you came from. Don't forget now what you used to feel. And now spin your eyes the other way. Allow yourself to look up, look down, left and right. Just continually do this as you try to remember the feeling of what it used to feel. I want you now to imagine you're going through a rebirth that is now creating the new you. How do you behave? What do you believe? What is it that has aligned you with action, deed, value, and belief that you want to believe? I want you to state in your mind's eyes, I now believe I am. And I want you to fill the gap. Fill the gap with who you are. And as you do this, I want to state for the very last time that we're going to dissolve, delete, and transmute this old story right across time and all dimensions. And I ask for your guides, my guides, to be with you like an army, like a cheer squad, like a team that is vouching for you. And I want you to know that you're dissolving, clearing, and releasing now. Now I want you to imagine that you're looking all the way down into your future at your empowered version of you. I want you to get ready to hold both your arms in the air on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold your arms in the air. And I want you to know that you are now creating your confidence, importance, self-love, self-belief. And I want you to know that you have everything you want, but it's inside you. You no longer have to search outside because you have it all within you. Now bring your arms down, and I want you to just reflect on what it is that is your new behavior. Are you more assertive? Are you more confident? Are you more empowered? Are you more inspired? Are you more energized? What are you wearing out in your future as you stand tall, as you stand strong, as you are confident, as you hear your own voice, the voice of the self-empowered you? I want you to now bring in a color that represents that new you, empowered, confident, inspired. And as you do, I want you to anchor it into your body by squeezing your fists. Squeeze your fists, anchoring it into your body. And now I want you to float from where you are in the golden light, and I want you to drop that color down. This is your legacy. And drop it down through the generations so you can change the generations that went before you, and you are going to change the generations that go after you. I want you to drop it down into your present where you are right here and now. Just see it cascading from the very crown of your head all the way down your neck. And it is the golden light in your color of power, wisdom, love, connection. And as it now rolls down your chest and expands your heart space and down into your gut and all the way down to your very soles of your feet, it's time to now conclude by going out into your future, maybe just 3 months from now. Before you land, see you in your glory. I want you to notice, what is the new behavior? What are you doing? What is it that you're saying? What do you believe? I want you to state it. I am, and fill the gap. I am. And as you are holding this certainty and this confidence, I want you to remember, just before we conclude, one of the most confident, empowered days of your life. It doesn't matter what you were doing. It could have been something small, but you knew you had it. You felt in every fiber of your body. It could have been just something you knew. And I want you to squeeze your fists. Squeeze your fists as you really insert this confidence, this clarity, this certainty. Now I want you to find a happy moment, any moment of happiness, joy, where you were enjoying yourself. You could have been a teenager. You could have been a young person, a young adult. It could have been yesterday. Just squeeze it in. And I want you to pump your fists now and really anchor that in visually, audibly, kinesthetically. And now drop down Drop down into that you and anchor it in. If this is good for you, if this is safe for you, if this is okay for those that love you and those around you, squeeze it into your fists. And now see a bright light beaming from you and out to your future. And in this space of where you are 3 months out, I want you to dream big about the next level. And from that, I want you to rise up and I want you to go out to that beam of light. I want you to float on down and then I want you to float back up again and I want you to take a picture of that. I want you to take a picture and then float back to your future 3 months out. Float down and just allow yourself to relax in. Deeply allow this to go into every muscle and cell. Allow the peace to just wash over you. Allow the deep relaxation. Now clench your fists again as you anchor in love, certainty, happiness, joy, peace. And now within that space, I want you to begin to merge back because you did something the day before. You did something that led you to that space, haven't you? I want you to come back to a month out from your present. Notice what is different. I want you to come back to next week, noticing that you have new eyes. It's like you know something in your knower that maybe is new from this and everything you've learned over this time of all the speakers you've listened to, all the work you've done. It's like everything is now fanning into flame, sparking the endorphins. And now just come back to where you are, right here in the chair. And as you come back into the chair, I want you to just take a deep breath in. And as you take a deep breath in, just breathe it out. And now on the count of 3, I would like you to get ready to open your eyes, coming back to full alertness, coming back to full vitality, coming back to an incredible feeling. 1, 2, and 3, open your eyes. Now, can I get everybody to stand? Now, what we need to do is we need to move our body. So just move your body, just so you can get it into all your cells. That's it. And once you're satisfied that you've moved your body, just take a seat. Have some water. Have some water to hydrate everyone. Okay, I'm going to have to use the magician skills. Maybe you can do it in the power of your mind. Who's willing for me just to ask a few questions? You won't have to share anything much. Is anybody willing to do that? And I might hand them. Yeah, could I actually get you to do the microphone to anyone that's going to? Thank you. Oh, good. Okay, can I get someone who would like to go deep, deep, deep into their why? This is all positive now. We've done the work behind you. We're now here in the present. So who would like to put their hand up and be the case study for this? Anyone brave? Everyone's so relaxed. Okay, yay. Woohoo, give her a big hand, everyone. What's your name?
Bonita.
Hi, Bonita. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
That's beautiful. So are you able to share perhaps just very briefly what you do desire and what, you really want to set up for your future?
it's, I've always wanted to, okay, so one of my core values is freedom. But I think I misunderstood freedom. I thought it was claiming who I am by maybe running away from certain things. But it's actually the freedom in my own mind.
Beautiful. And you're already answering your own question. So obviously your guides have been guiding you. So freedom. So whatever freedom means, it's the same as success. Everybody will have a different version of what success, what freedom means. It's all just, really individual. Now, everybody else is going to benefit from this because you all have your own desires. So tell me, why do you want freedom?
For autonomy.
And why do you want autonomy?
Be able to truly express myself.
And why do you want to truly express yourself?
To live authentically.
And why do you want to live authentically?
I think it's my calling.
Wow. Number 6. And your calling? And where did your calling come from?
From my core.
From your core. Excellent. So your core calling is to what? Can you make that statement again for me?
My core calling is that I live authentically, which means, can I say what it means?
Absolutely.
To live authentically, which means to be able to be vulnerable and accepting who I am according to me and my source, which is my spirituality and core.
Beautiful. Does everybody see how she's gone a lot deeper this time? Would that equal freedom?
Yes.
Okay, give her a hand, everyone. Woohoo! Okay, just for the record, if you're doing that with clients, and if anybody does want the scripts, just let me know. If you are doing that with clients, what you can expect, I mean, obviously Benita is quite highly emotionally intelligent, so you've done a lot of work. But what you'll do is you'll find that even when you are at that level, if it's a new kind of level that you want, as you go down the why, we only ask why when it's about what the person wants. And as you go down deeper and deeper and deeper, you got to know what freedom meant. You got to know that it's about your core calling. But what happens with a lot of people is they discover, they'll say something like, because I was never made to feel important when I was young. Do you know what I mean? So they'll actually come up, you don't be surprised if they come up with, because I suffered, da 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 da. And that's when and then they understand that their pain is their power, and that is your true spiritual prosperity. Have we got time for questions? Anyone got any questions?
Yeah, what would you say if they say, oh, she's very
Online.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, obviously Juanita is very evolved and spiritual. She did a lot of work on herself. Why questions that I have always been told that why questions are not the best questions to ask because the conscious mind goes in the way. So what would you do if someone said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know?
You've got to actually play the game with them. That's a very good question, because quite often our questions are to help them, not us. In fact, it's always that way. So when you get a client and you say, what is the purpose? Like usually if it is a negative, you don't go, why do you feel depressed? Or why are you feeling that? No, 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 no. We ask the what questions. What does that feel like? When did that begin? You know, how, but not why. So when you say, why do you want it? And they go, I don't know. You say, Can you just humour me here for a moment? You don't have to use these exact words. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your subconscious. Do you mind if we stop blocking it? Do you mind if we bypass your consciousness because you know you want to get through this? You know that that's what you want, isn't it? Right? So if this is what you truly, truly desire, I'm not asking you for the answer. I'm asking your subconscious, and you do not. You've got an aura around your head. I can see your aura. Oh my gosh, this lady just out over here. Anyway, back here. So basically it is about them being able to digest that, and they will find the answer. Because when you can ask yourself beautiful questions, you know, what do I need to do to be really, really joyful today? What do I need to do to succeed in this specific thing? You do need to be quite specific. Don't confuse the subconscious, put it out there. But getting back to the I don't know, you have to ask them if they wouldn't mind just even not answering at all. And no answer is better than I don't know. Because the moment they say I don't know, that barrier comes up. Boom.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Anyone else? It's very quiet in here.
Terri, how do we get the scripts? So I have a couple of questions online.
Yeah. Okay. Firstly, everyone's got this book. Can I actually say go home and work on that, because that workbook is really cool. And they can actually contact me. So Terri Messenger, with an I, Terri, and Messenger is in the chat, or the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. And yeah, you can either get through on my socials, and I'll get you the script. I'll put the script in your hands. I only advise that you do this with other people if you are trained at some level as a coach, or in that field. Otherwise, just practice it on yourself. And you know what the beauty of this, guys, is? You can have this script forever, and you can utilize it on anything. Because let's face it, in 3 months' time, you're going to want a new thing. Because this, what you've done today, is going to be your new level. It's going to become your new normal. Thank you very much, everyone.